talking at work turned into texting at home, and then pictures and videos, and then trying to sneak some alone time with him. I knew that it was wrong, but it made me feel so alive, and my husband had not made me feel like that in years.
Alright guys, y'all looking at the thumbnail, y'all looking at the title of the video, y'all already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Shout out to my Instagram at @MTandR. The link to it down in the description box down below. Make sure y'all continue to follow your boy and send me absolutely dope content to bring up here on the platform and have a discussion about it. Today's video, a young lady describing why divorcing her husband was the worst decision she's made in her life. Without further ado,
If I could give anyone a piece of advice for divorce, it would be to not do it under normal circumstances. If your spouse is beating you or threatening you or your children, then of course, get out and fast. In my case, there was no abuse. We were together for 8 years. That was mostly good, and we have 4 kids. Right around 5 years, I got a promotion at work, and I got it in my head that my ex-husband was dragging me down, or at least holding me back from more success.
shout out to feminism. You have struck again, all right? If it was truly about equality, then her getting a promotion while the guy doesn't shouldn't bother her one bit, but let's keep going.
You're assuming. Really? Assuming. Really? You telling me you're a lady? And
She's more like an avatar, not like the green alien movie Avatar, more like the last Airbender Avatar. Hello.
you sitting here coming up on me screaming.
Why can't she do
Look,
that?
it's the
Why can't she do
you
that?
want 50-50, you want 50-50.
Oh my God, the women are cheering?
Equality, that's what we talking about. I want equality.
See, because it's not about equality. It's about wanting the whole damn thing. You saw earlier in the compilation, the young lady at the whatever table was saying, I just want to be free to make whatever decisions that I want without consequences. I want to do whatever I want. That's what this is really about. Modern day feminism.
And a better life. We never had a lot of money, but with my promotion, I was now making more than he was. I started working longer hours, and at the same time, his hours were cut, so he was at home more. I really began to resent him because he was home and because he got to spend time with our kids. Most nights when I got home, they were already getting ready for bed, if not already sleeping. After a few months of my new job, it was clear to me that things were not going well at home without me there. Some nights the dishes weren't done when I got home, or the kids hadn't eaten, or whatever else I could think of to be mad at him about. It really didn't matter. He kept saying that he would try harder, but that it was hard being home all the time. That always made me really mad. For the next couple years, things kept getting worse. My hours weren't any shorter, and his were on and off full time. There was no convenient time for him to be working full time because of my hours, but we also needed the money. Whenever he would tell me that he could get extra hours, I would always complain. And the less hours he worked, the more I complained that
The
he
hell?
wasn't bringing in enough money.
She started off this whole thing talking about that there wasn't abuse that happened within this marriage, but he wants to get more hours and you complain. He'll get less hours and then you complain as well. That's emotional abuse. And I'd argue that emotional abuse is worse than physical abuse. You can see the scars of the physical abuse, but the emotional abuse often can go undiagnosed. It can be even traumatic and long lasting than physical abuse. You sound like an abuser.
Whenever he brought up the contradiction, I would tell him that he needed to figure it out.
Oh God.
I knew that it would bother him, so I started saying that a lot and for everything that I could. I really started to resent him and I pulled away from him. I knew that it was hurting him, but I didn't care. If he didn't want to be hurt, then he would at least try to make me happy. I used that same thing to justify when I started to talk to another guy at work.
Oh,
I
God.
thought he was just a friend, but talking at work turned into texting at home, and then pictures and videos, and then trying to sneak some alone time with him. I knew that it was wrong, but it made me feel so alive, and my husband had not made me feel like that in years.
Okay, we got a strumpet on our goddamn hands. You're an emotionally abusive wife that chose to get that promotion. He didn't choose to you get a promotion or work longer hours. That's a component of the reason why I stopped trying to climb the ladder. Because I'm just like, I'm looking up at the top and I'm just like, I see the work-life balance. Like I see all these different types of things, and to do it for another organization, right? Like, you know what you're setting yourself up for. But based off of your choice to be a career woman, you are now emotionally abusing your husband, and now you're being a thought rocket going on vacation with Chad, the work husband, while your husband is at home taking care of the children, the 4 children.
I was tired of being unhappy.
Oh, you're
And I
unhappy.
was doing this for me. The worst was the night I came home at a reasonable time and found that he had cleaned the whole house, cooked the whole family dinner, and picked out a movie for all of us.
He's a
to
sweetheart.
watch together. This would have made me swoon a couple years earlier, but that night I couldn't even look at him, and I pretended to be sick. I spent the rest of the night in bed while he waited on me and checked on me and even made me different food and brought it to me in bed. It made me feel terrible, and then it made me angry that he made me feel
That he made you
way.
feel, oh,
And
wow.
By the end of the night, I was texting with the other guy. Over the next month or two from that night, it did not matter.
She's a tyrant.
what he did. He was wrong just for breathing most days. He would get so upset with how I was treating him, and I would just wait and egg him on into losing it because I knew it would happen eventually.
You know what I'm also thinking about when I'm watching this? Shout out to Will and Jada. The intricacies of emotional damage that can happen within a relationship to the culmination of happy wife, happy life is what I see in a lot of these different situations where these men are just ghosts of their former selves, and they just understand how everything that they try to do just continues not to make her happy. They don't understand that. But the difficulty within here is that, guys, you must be the owner of the castle. And a lot of the times that will require you to date down. So this is why this dynamic right here demonstrates perfectly why so many dudes don't like or want to position themselves around these masculine, career-oriented and driven women that can't turn the off switch on when they go back home. Because then their emotions don't push with logic, and they just create this weird feelings-based environment, this directionless environment where even her trying to communicate what he can do to improve just makes no goddamn sense. And it's a contradiction within itself. This is why dudes look at that archetype of woman and we tell y'all that what y'all bring in doesn't matter. But behind the words is the characteristics that you're going to display when that's the case.
50-50 or a hole,
No, 50-50, man.
hole, or off, you.
And these women are supporting her. These are mentally unstable women running rampant in Arkham Asylum. Forget the last airbender here for a quick second. Just look at all of these women behind her laughing and jeering. I don't look like Mia Khalifa. Laughing, jeering, and just loving this type of behavior. This is absolutely a sickness. Your leaders that push these ideas should be in straitjackets, but instead they're leaders of your hate groups masquerading as equality. Give me all. Give me a damn break.
Hey, are you girls lost? No. Why are you outside the kitchen?
So 100,000 women went on strike today in Iceland to demand gender equality. The entire population is 370,000. So over 25% of the population went on strike, and I have some crazy news for you. The economy did not come to a stop, and it continued as normal. The only memo I got was that HR departments were getting no complaints for the 24 hours that the women were on strike. And men were writing that they were really sorry women didn't get gender equality, but I heard one CEO said it was nice to finally get some shit done, end quote.
Those are great numbers. I am astonished.
After most of the fights we had, he would apologize for whatever I told him he did.
Sorry, honey.
If there even was something. But I never did.
I'm apologizing. I don't know why.
Even worse. I knew that I was right because he was wrong.
She's a psychopath.
That was all that mattered to me.
Wow.
I even pretended that I didn't care when he found out about my relationship with the guy from work. It really destroyed me inside to see him holding back tears. But I wasn't going to let him see that. He was at his weakest, and that was when I chose to tell him that I wanted a divorce.
Oh,
I could almost hear his heart shattering inside his chest.
She's the Unabomber.
He talked and fought and said that we could work through it together. I really wasn't interested in fixing our marriage, but I mostly ended things with the other guy, but only because I knew I could get it back if I wanted it. Now
this strong, career-oriented woman has 4 kids, and now she's on the dating marketplace because she chose to break up her own happy home. Unbelievable.
See that he was trying, and occasionally I would let him know. But for the most part, I kept being a huge to him for any and all reasons that I could think of. I'm not sure how much more the man could have done to make me happy besides finding a job that paid enough for me to not have to work at all. He said that he was looking, but looking and finding are 2 different things. I started saying awful things to him and even outright ignoring him. I was so confident with mine and everyone else's opinion that I contacted a lawyer and within a couple weeks had filed for divorce.
Notice what she said. I was so confident with mine and everyone else's opinion. So what does that mean? She was in her modern woman echo chambers. She was in the modern woman echo chambers and was talking about all the shit that's wrong with him. And all homegirl's like, yeah, what is he doing? God, man ain't shit. He's doing what? He can't even clean up the house for you every single time before you get home. Right? Like, what do you mean? He's making you go out and work and this. Yeah, man, of course. Cause he's so lazy. Meanwhile, you're robbing him of his masculinity. You're stripping him of his soul till he's this dirty, wilted flower zombie of a man that's had his former glory and essence ripped from out of him.
It went pretty smoothly. The ex-husband didn't ask for much besides to not get divorced and to try to work it all out. I didn't care about that though. He was broken, but I was free. I could do whatever I wanted without having to feel any guilt or answer to anybody. It was an amazing feeling of freedom. It didn't last long though.
For the streets.
She belongs to the streets.
I missed garbage day 3 times. There was also rarely a single clean dish, and the laundry sat
Who got the
in
kids?
piles so long that I had to start doing the sniff test to see if it could be worn again.
Oh, she's nasty.
I also never saw my kids more miserable.
Oh, she had them.
My oldest had seen some of the messages from the other guy months earlier, and she knew that the ex-husband still wanted to try to work it out. It didn't take her long to stop talking to me at all, except to say that she wanted to go to my ex-husband's house.
Yeah,
the others
they don't like
told
you.
me they wanted to live with the ex-husband too. I did my best to try to make them happy, but I ended up just buying them toys all the time, and the happiness only lasted minutes. I also was having a lot of trouble with work. Being alone, I couldn't work all those extra hours that I was expected to. I finally gave in and started calling the ex-husband to watch the kids. He would always come over as soon as he could, and he always asked me if I needed anything. When I would get home, I would find clean dishes and laundry and even dinner sometimes. He would never say too much after I got home. He would just say to call him if I needed anything, and then he would leave. One night,
who is
he
this
took out the
saint?
garbage and brought it to the curb because it was garbage night and I forgot again. He always looked so sad when it was time to go. Finally, after a couple months, my friends convinced me to go out on a date. It was for dinner and a movie, and I was excited and hopeful. But at dinner, I started getting a feeling of overwhelming guilt.
Shut up. What type of guy gets cheated on and is at her every beck and call? Move on with your life. Move on with your life. Go do better next time.
It got so bad that I ended up not even going to the movie. A week and about 1,000,000 tears later, I was on a therapist's couch. I told her everything.
You should have been on the couch.
The promotion that I got at work. She did not agree with me or with any of the encouragement to divorce that I got. I ended up in her office 2 and sometimes 3 times a week. And the more that I talked to prove that I was right, the more that I started to see how wrong I was. It was truly heartbreaking. I don't know if I cried as much in my whole life as I did in the first months in her office. After about $2,000 of therapy sessions, I learned that my ex-husband had his faults, but I figured out that mine were so much worse. I did so many awful things and said awful things that I wouldn't want to be with me, but he did. I still remember him
Lord knows
asking
why.
me in the meeting with the lawyer to please not go through with it. I did go through with it though. And then later I bragged on here how great it felt. I was so wrong, and now I can see it. A couple weeks ago,
I remember the first time I told my wife I loved her. We were dating for 2 months. I said I loved you, and then she said it back, and it felt amazing, right? But then she recently admitted the first time she said she loved me, she didn't mean it. She was bluffing, which is fine. Like, she loves me now, I think. So I asked her, I said, okay, well, when was the first time you said you loved me and you meant it? And she said, when we had a pregnancy scare and you said not to worry because you were going to take care of me and the baby no matter what. Yeah, which is crazy because I was bluffing. I didn't mean any of that shit.
a couple weeks ago,
Just real quick. And this also demonstrates the importance of therapists, right? Because what did she say? I was in my echo chamber. Everybody agreed. I went into on a therapist's couch. And after $2,000, I came to this understanding, right? So it was a $2,000 investment to not forego all of the other bullshit that she had encumbered in her life. If she got therapy at the point where the toxicity began to start, she recognized that she was being emotionally abusive. At that part, go get therapy. This is your husband. But in society today, marriage is not a function of something that you don't have a choice to get up out of. Oh, but if I get up out of it, then I got to move away out of my house. I got to let my kids just stay over here, right? But y'all just willy-nilly get married at 20-something years old before you've developed yourself and your purpose, right? So you can have a young terrorist of a young woman come through like this and exact whatever emotional damage that she's going through within her life and is experiencing with you on you. Y'all are out your minds fundamentally. Let's move on. It's almost over.
outside with him when he was leaving the house. I asked him about getting
He better have said no.
together. When he looked at me, his eyes were full of tears, and a couple went down his cheeks. He told me that he didn't know if he could.
Okay.
He said that the pain has been too much for too long.
Okay.
And that if we got back together, that I might just turn
Yes.
around and do it to him.
Yes.
He said that he always thought that I would realize how much he loved me and stop up until I signed the divorce papers.
Yeah, but you went through
Let
it.
out a big, over-exaggerated sigh of relief. He said that hurt him more than anything else, and that he doesn't know if he can ever trust me again.
Big true.
I don't blame him. I destroyed a man who, looking back, was a great husband. I deprived my kids of having a great father in the house with them, and I took his kids away from him. And me, the one who pushed for the divorce, expecting happiness and a life of freedom,
It's not reality.
spend all my free time sitting at home,
Lonely.
or sitting on a therapist's couch. If your marriage is bad, look at yourself first and see if you can make changes. This is advice for men and women. Getting divorced is not fun. being divorced is not fun. And seeing your husband broken and your children never happy because of your actions is the most painful experience that I can imagine.
And above all, getting married to a insurgent is not fun as well. Truth be told, I don't even know what else to say about a story like this. It just leaves you with a dirty, sickening, crumbling taste within your mouth regarding some of the personalities that you can run into from a dating, courting, relationship, marriage perspective. But I think that this crazy lady's story is just more evidence to prove when I say that one of the most important decisions that you will ever make in your life is deciding correctly when it comes to a significant other, if you choose to decide. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary today. Leave your comments down below if you agree or you disagree with anything that I said down in here. Make sure you put the timestamp in it so I know exactly what it is that you are referring to. Shout out to this pure, unlovely lady in sharing this dirty, dusty, hood booger-esque story, because it warns all of the dudes regarding the bullshit of today. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre Tourism Reviews at gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. Click the link down below. Beam up. See all the dope things that I have in store. We got the dopest Discord community on this side of YouTube. If you want to be around other dope, like-minded people to grow within yourself, your masculinity, y'all already know where to find me. We got events happening all throughout the month, only happening up there. So come through. All right? Until next time, YouTube. Peace!